Hello and welcome to Monte Vista High School here in Danville, California for our third game for this Saints Northern California road trip. I'm Riley Horn, joined with my broadcaster Mark Robinson. And Mark, starting things off in San Luis Obispo a couple nights ago, Saints dropped that one by a final score of 3-0. Then last night against the Sonoma Stompers, took the 1-0 victory, now split on this three-game series, if you will, looking to complete the overall series victory, go with a 2-1 record as we head back down south later tonight. What do they need to do to get this victory here today?
Well, we've talked about a lot of improvement points over the weekend. In San Luis Obispo on Thursday night, hits were bleak. They were only able to get 2 hits across 9 innings, weren't able to score any runs. And then last night against the Sonoma Stompers, they solved that problem. The bats got hot. They were able to get a lot of really strong hits. They ended the night with 9. Now, today, against Walnut Creek, it's about making those hits timely. Get the hits at the right time and capitalize on the base runners that you have. Because another crazy thing from that Stompers game last night, the Saints stranded 13 runners on base throughout the game. They were able to get the win last night. Nice 1-0 win over Sonoma. And with the last game on the NorCal road trip here, they have a chance to come out on top.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Definitely all about that timely hitting, trying to strand less base runners. Leading things off now for the Saints, center fielder Lane Hayworth. First pitch delivered by the Crawdads pitcher George Zaharias. Officially a 108 first pitch. Lane Hayworth is followed up by Trotter Enright, Jack Little in the 3 spot, Levi Medella 4th, Jax Ryan 5th, Jacob Freer 6th, Joey Milto 7th, Johnny Garber 8th. Rounding things out as the second leadoff man is Keon Mosini now, as Hayworth gets ahead 2-0.
Hayworth 0 for 4 yesterday against Sonoma, looking for his first hit across the 2 games on the tail end of this NorCal road trip.
Takes a hack at the 2-0, fouls it back into the net against George Zaharias, the pitcher for the Crawdads, standing at 6'3", 220 pounds out of Menlo Park, California. Attended University of Texas at Austin last year, but used his redshirt year in his freshman debut season. Hayworth lines this one into shallow left field and down in front of Brome for a base hit. That is Ryan Brome out and left. To his left is going to be Casey Levitt McGee in center. In right field is Joey Donnelly. Left to right on the infield for the Crawdads is Leninger, Calvillo, Escoval, and Ewens. And then behind the dish is Zach Justice completing the battery with George Zaharias. But a leadoff man on. Good start now for the Saints.
Really great start for Arroyo Seco here, and we were just talking about how Lane Hayworth had a blank day on the offensive side, went 0 for 4 batting in the leadoff spot. So for him to get on base in his first at-bat of the day, huge for Arroyo Seco.
Enright squares to bunt but pulls it back on the ball. This is low inside. One-0 pitch on the inner edge for a called strike one, evens it up at 1-1.
Enright looking for his second hit of the weekend, 0 for 4 against San Luis Obispo on Thursday night.
And a 1-1 count. Zaharias delivers. This one fouled out of play on the left side. Brings it to 1-2. Yeah, Saints dropped the first one of this 3-game set in San Luis Obispo. Final score 3-0. Then last night took the 1-0 lead over the Sonoma Stompers. Their first time those two teams have played, the Saints and the Stompers, since June 24th of 2022. So it's been a handful of years since those two teams squared off. Last time they played back in 2022, the Crawdads actually took, the Stompers took the loss. Saints also took the win in that one by a final score of 7-4. Then that next day, the Saints would square off against the Crawdads like we have today. Crawdads took that one down 5-4. This one chopped over to the first baseman, Ewens, to second, back to first, in time for the double play. Well executed there by the Crawdads defense to put 2 outs on the board.
Yeah, a really nice way to turn 2 there for the Crawdads, and all of a sudden all the momentum in favor of Walnut Creek. With 2 gone here in the top of the first, Arroyo Seco needs to try to answer.
Just finished mentioning the last time that these 2 teams met, the Crawdads and the Saints, was back on June 11th and June 13th of 2024. Saints took the first one down by a final score of 8-3 and then dropped the second one by a final score of 8-5. So it was split last year, and now for the first game, both teams looking to get ahead. Saints obviously looking to put a 2-1 record on this NorCal road trip. Jack Little flares this one out of play on the right side. Little a 1-for-4 night last night against the Stoppers. This one misses low and away.
'40th at-bat of the season playing for Arroyo Seco here for Jack Little. 8 runs, 14 hits, 3 doubles, and a triple. 7 RBIs as well.
Takes a hack at this one, but again, fouls it out of play on the right side. Fouled back into the net. Bright one out here in Danville today. 73 and sunny and incredibly bright so far. 2-2 count, 2 outs. Zaharias misses down in the dirt, brings it full. Payoff pitch. Once again, fouled off. Jack Little giving a great fight. Not going down easy.
Zaharias deep into this count with Jack Little. A lot of foul balls. We'll see what he's able to do here on the second payoff pitch of the count.
Chopped over to the shortstop, Calvillo. He throws over to first in the dirt. Unable to come up with it is John Ewens, the first baseman. A reach on error puts Jack Little on first base and puts another base runner on for the Saints.
Nice hack there from Jack Little. Really good way to respond with 2 gone here in the top of the first. Just right up the middle to the shortstop, and a nice throw from Calvillo of the Walnut Creek Crawdads, but not able to make the grab as Ewens standing at first. And we got a runner on with 2 outs here in the top of the first inning.
Brings up Levi Medella, first baseman tonight. Last night against the Stompers, Medella was in left. Finished last night's bout 2-for-4 with a walk. Runner goes. Called strike, throw down, not in time. Jack Little stolen at second base, puts him in scoring position with 2 outs. Medella, 4 RBIs so far this season. Called strike 2 on the low inside corner. Brings it quickly 0-2. Zaharias steps off and regathers. Retoes the rubber. Looks in for a sign. Shakes the first one, agrees on the second. 0-2 pitch. Way high and away. Now 1-2 count. One-two pitch, swing and a miss. Strike three. George Zaharias gets the first strikeout of his start and the third out of the top of the first. We will head to the home half right after this quick break here on the Saints Streaming Network. Home half of the first from here in Danville. Taking the mound for your Saints is Zach Erdman. Left to right in the outfield, it's Mosini, Hayworth, and Milto. Left to right on the infield, Enright, Ryan, Freer, and Medella. Completing the battery with Erdman is Johnny Garber. First two miss down low to Jared Medham, who's in the designated hitter spot today. Jared, member of the St. Mary's College Gales, where I go to school and do the broadcasting for their baseball squad. So I've had plenty of experience watching Jared play. Fun guy to watch out on the field, good bat, and a strong glove on defense as well. Normally out in the infield. He was the everyday shortstop for the Gales this last season. Today at the designated hitter spot and leading off. He's way ahead, 3-0. And a 4-pitch walk puts Jared Medham on first base. Definitely a guy with wheels. Definitely capable of stealing bags, but brings up the left fielder now, Ryan Brome. He'll be followed up by Joey Donnelly, and those are the three that will be guaranteed due up for the Crawdads. After Donnelly, it'll go to Zach Justice, then to John Ewens, Cam Calvillo, Riley Lenninger, Chris Escovel, another St. Mary's Gale this past season, and then Casey Levitt-McGee rounds it out as the second leadoff man. Grounder 4 over to 6, Ryan to first for the 3. Another double play, very similar to what we saw in the top half of this inning, rolling a double play to put 2 outs on the board.
Yeah, we continue to see such strong defense on this NorCal road trip. The Saints specifically have just been all over it. Their gloves have been really hot playing defense, specifically in the infield. They've been able to turn a lot of double plays and get it done when they need to on the defensive side.
It was Freer over to Jax Ryan, then over to Levi Medella.
Classic 4-6-3.
Ball one misses inside to Joey Donnelly. Ryan got the start at shortstop last night. Enright got the start at third base last night. Over at first base in last night's bout was Jack Little, and at second base was Keon Mosini. A little bit of changes for the Saints as the 1-0 is swung through, brings it to 1-1. Mosini, though, staying in the starting lineup. He's bumped out to the outfield and left. That's Hayworth in center and Milto in right. Hayworth again getting the nod. He started there last night. In right field last night was Gannon Snyder, but he's now replaced by Joey Milto. As Zach Erdman is ahead of Joey Donnelly 1-2. Check swing. Did not go around, says the third base umpire. Evens it up at 2-2.
Donnelly liked that pitch at first. Almost went all the way around on the check swing, but held back to keep the count even. We'll see what Erdman's able to do with an even count here.
Grounder over to Freer at second. He handles, flips over to first for the third out of the inning. 3 up, 3 down on both sides as we head into the second inning from here at Monte Vista High School.
Coming in this game, he has a 400 on-base percentage. He's going to get up with the 2 hits he has. He lines one.
That one's belted to right field, and that one is gone. How about Josh Livingston getting things started here for the Saints? He ropes a home run right over the right field. Jake Brown looking up. That one is gone. An opposite field home run. Alex Burge.
First Pickles, then Oppo Tacos. How about that for Alex Burge? Hit the home run to right. He was like, nah. I'm going to hit one to left now. How about a 3-run blast for the backstop?
Booms that one to right field. Matthew Thomas will just have to look back. That one is gone. Welcome to the game, Colton Dahl. Jacob Shart with a 3-run home run, the second 3-run home run of the game, and the lead continues to balloon. It's 9-1.
I mean, off the bat, you knew that.
Top of the second from here at Monte Vista High School. Leading off, it's Jax Ryan, Jacob Freer, Joey Milto. I was mistaken when I said both sides went 3 up, 3 down. Lane Hayward started things off with a leadoff single. Trotter Enright grounded into a double play. Jack Little reached on an error, and a strikeout from Levi Medella now brings it up to Jack Little. Leads things off and swings through the first offering. 0-1 now to Jax Ryan. Grounder down the third base line, backhanded long throw. Can't come up with the short hop is Ewens. Moving up to second base and putting on the horse. Heading for third is Ryan, and he's going to slide in safely without a contest. Good backhanded play by Leninger, the third baseman. Long throw, and John Ewens couldn't come up with the short hop pick at first. Spat all the way to the fence in foul territory, and Jax Ryan ends up on third base.
Really nice job there by Jax Ryan. Capitalized on the missed throw and utilized his speed. I feel like most players in that situation, they'll play it safe. They'll hang out at second base, sit in scoring position. But with his speed, we now have a runner 90 feet away from scoring the first run of the day for the Saints.
We saw something very similar last night. It was Jax Ryan who reached on a fielder's choice, then ended up on third after a back pick throwing error from the Sonoma Stompers pitcher. And then a back pick attempt from the Stompers catcher. Ball spat into left center, or shallow left field, and Jax Ryan would advance the 90 feet, come around to score, and again, one of the most unconventional ways that we've ever seen. Showing off that speed again here as he ends up on third.
Yeah, so Ryan now in a position to score back-to-back first run of the game for the Saints. Yesterday, the first run turned out to be the only run and the winning run for Arroyo Seco. But with a lot of baseball ahead of us this afternoon, hopefully he can come through home plate here and be the first of many.
3-1 count now to Jacob Freer, the second baseman for the Saints. That one catches the inner edge for a called strike two. Now brings it full. Three, two is fouled out of play on the left side. And it looks like both Jack Little and Jax Ryan were awarded hits when they both reached. Maybe a little bit of conflict of scorekeepers here on the scoreboard. Saints only have one hit, but on the digital scorebook, Saints now going down with 3. So a little bit of, questionable which one stands. But up to this point, the Saints finished last night's game with 9 hits, finished the game against the Blues with 2. So they're at least up to 12 now throughout the 3 games, but just 1 run. Jacob Freer is awarded first base with a walk and puts runners on the corners with nobody out.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, Riley. I'm sitting here kind of trying to figure those two out for myself. I have Jack Little down as an error. I thought that was pretty blatant, but I'm not really sure about Jax Ryan. I thought that the throw was pretty decent over to first and kind of tough to grab, and so definitely would have been a hit, would have been a single. But the fact that he reached third, I'm not sure what the call is there. So I'm with the scorekeepers here on the confusion for sure.
First pitch to Joey Milto, misses upstairs. Yeah, it was definitely an error that got him over to third. It's just a question of would he have beat that one out had the play been properly made. That's what kind of would be the jurisdiction, a hit or not. But the Crawdads catcher, Zach Justice, going to have a word with George Zaharias. He's missed a couple in a row now. Backstop trying to calm his pitcher down with runners on the corner. Nobody out. And Joey Milto in the box.
We talked briefly about timingly hitting for Arroyo Seco right before this game started, and they seem to have figured that out here with no outs. They have runners on the corners and a prime opportunity for any sort of a scoring opportunity, a base hit, a sac fly, any sort of a way to get one of these runners through the diamond here at home plate.
Runner goes, ball in the dirt, pump fake down to second. Sliding in safely is Jacob Freer, and Jax Ryan is held up at third base now, 2 in scoring position with nobody out, and now's the real test of whether the Saints can pull through with their timely hitting. 2 in scoring position, a base hit likely to score both. Sac fly could definitely score 1.
That's 2 stolen bases already for Arroyo Seco through 1.5 innings here in Walnut Creek.
Corners for the Crawdads are in. Middle's back. So a ground ball up the middle could score a run as well. 3-0 in there for a strike is Zaharias. Moves at 3-1. Great hitters count still for Milto. We saw the Saints yesterday. We've mentioned 13 left on base. Bases were left loaded and stranded once, and there were 2 runners on, and they were left both out on base. But a walk now to Joey Milto. Bases loaded, nobody out for the backstop, Johnny Garber.
It's back-to-back walks for George Zaharias.
Batting for Arroyo Seco, the catcher is number 5, Johnny Garber.
Crawdads are going to take a quick timeout. Coach going to come out, have a word with Zaharias. Someone is up and throwing in the Crawdads bullpen. Can't quite tell who that is, but it looks like he's just now kind of starting his throwing routine. So don't think we're going to see the end of Zaharias' day just yet. Seems more of a, kind of regather, recoup, take a deep breath, and reset type of mound visit from the Crawdads.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're in a tough spot defensively right now. You've got bases loaded, no outs. The odds of at least 1 run scoring in this situation, very high. And the primary way that this is going to be prevented is pitching. You have to try to get the best pitches possible in through the zone and try to really test these next 3 Arroyo Seco batters. It's Johnny Garber in the 8 spot, Keon Moseni in the other leadoff spot, and then Lane Hayworth comes back, guaranteed to have an AB this top of the 2nd inning with none gone here in the top of the 2nd.
Garber 214, 1 RBI so far this summer. Grounds the first one through the 5-6 hole into left field for a base hit. 1 run comes in to score. Wave is on for Freer. He comes in to score as well. Milto moves first to third. And we are back with runners on the corners, nobody out, and 2 runs scoring for the Saints.
And there's that timely hitting right there. A 2 RBI single for Johnny Garber. That was a clutch hit right there for the Saints. And early in this game, the offense is already buzzing.
Already scored more runs here today in the 2nd inning than they have combined through their previous 2 games. This one gets Mosini on the front leg, and we again go loaded with nobody out. This time, even more of a prime opportunity for the Saints as it's kicked back up to the top of the lineup with Lane Hayworth, who's already 1 for 1 on the day. Started things off with a line drive single into left field earlier last inning. Again, corners in, middle back. Ground ball up the middle, definitely would score 1. Ball misses upstairs now. Hayworth ahead 1-0. High inside corner, evens it up at 1-1. One pitch, again with that high inside corner. Hayworth now falls behind 1-2. Again, there is an arm in the Crawdads pen. Can't quite tell who it is, but it looks like either 18 or 19. Peter Storjohan or Carson Timothy. This one grounded off the glove of the pitcher Zaharias and skips off the glove of the 2nd baseman Escovel. Another run scores. That one goes down as a hit. Runners go station to station. Saints lead 3-0.
Nice to clock another hit in there for Arroyo Seco and bring a run in, and just a really strong start all around to this game for the Saints, both defensively and offensively.
Hayward's second hit of the day. It was a ground ball up the middle that skipped off the glove of George Zaharias, the pitcher. Chris Esquivel ranging up the middle to try and make the play, but after the ricochet skipped over to his left against his momentum, and he couldn't come up with it either. And this is going to call the Crawdads head coach out for the second time this inning, and it will be the end of George Zaharias' day. Decent first inning, now struggling through the second one. He is still responsible for the 3 runners on base. And a new arm comes in for the Crawdads to face off against Trotter Enright with nobody out and the bases loaded. We'll have more on this new reliever right after this quick break.
Hello and welcome back to the Arroyo Seco Saints pregame show. I'm Ethan Inman.
And I'm Dylan Gonzalez. We're the journalism interns. The Saints are back from their 3-day break where some of the players took part in the CCL showcase over at the MLB Academy in Compton. The Saints are returning here at Jackie Robinson Field at Brookside Park to face the same team they played before the break, the Academy Barons, where they won 7-3. They were trailing for most of the game, even though they had a great performance from Danny Bellows with 5 shutout innings. They were on the verge of suffering their first 3-game losing streak of the season, but a big 5-run 8th inning put the Saints ahead, and they didn't look back from there.
Yeah, absolutely. CCL All-Star Jacob Sharp had the big hit in that 5-run inning with the 2-run single, and the Saints were able to pull that one out. And it was a big one because they'd lost a couple of games in a row to the Barons, and they were both close. I know that Milan wanted both of them, but to get that win was huge heading into a break, where they can relax and know that they ended on a good note, and know that they were facing the same team that they just beat a couple of days later when they came back and restarted the season. So, but let's talk about some of those CCL All-Stars. I know Easton Elliott was a guy who had a big day. If you want to tell the viewers at home, what Easton did at the CCL game.
Not a big deal. Just came off the bench and won Defensive Player of the Game. Over at shortstop, hasn't seen a lot of action at shortstop here, with Adrian Lopez getting a lot of playing time there, as well as Tyler Gordon, who's played a lot there lately. But just like, it's not a surprise to us who've been covering the Saints all summer. Easton can play pretty much anywhere on the field to provide plus value on defense. And it's good that he was able to showcase that to the rest of the
Saints already got 3 this half inning, still with nobody out and the bases juiced. Trotter Enright steps in against a new arm. It is number 18, Peter Storyahan, 6'5", 230 pounds from UC Santa Barbara, and a local kid as well from right here in Danville. Thrown immediately into a big jam and misses the first offering upstairs for ball 1. Enright takes a hack, fouls it out of play on the left side, evens it up at 1-1.
Yeah, big test for the second arm of the day for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. As you said, put in a massive jam right here. We'll see if he's able to limit the damage as much as possible from here on out for Walnut Creek.
Good slider on the inner half, gets Enright a little bit tied up, brings it to a 1-2 count. Enright grounded into a double play his first time up in the first. Back foot slider. Looks like it catches Enright on that back foot. And a bases loaded hit by pitch brings in another run for the Saints. They go ahead 4-0 here in the second.
Designated hitter, Jack Little.
Jack Little comes up to bat now for the second time of the day, reaches on error in the top of the first.
Bases loaded, still nobody out. First one misses low and outside. Second one, big swing and a miss out of Little, but he comes up empty and evens it up at 1-1. Little so far on this road trip, a combined 1 for 9. That one misses low and away. Brings it now to 2-1. He gets ahead. He was 1 for 4 last night, 0 for 4 against the Blues 2 nights ago. So far here today, 0 for 1 with a reach on error. Two-one pitch, low and away. Brings it to a hitter's count now, 3-1. Jack Little, the Baylor Bear, waits the 3-1. Low and away, bases loaded, walk, brings in another run. Saints go ahead, 5-0.
We talked about how Storjahan had to come into this game and try to limit the damage as much as possible. But he comes in and his first 2 batters faced is a hit by pitch and a walk. So tough start for just pitching all around for Walnut Creek this afternoon. We'll see if they can get themselves out of a tough 5-run jam that they've created.
Called strike 1 on the low outside corner to Levi Medella. Storjahan gets in there with the first one. Storjahan already struggling a little bit, like you mentioned. 2 free passes to bring in 2 more runs for the Saints. Nobody really up and moving yet. Couple guys stretching out on the Crawdads bullpen, but that's about it so far. This one misses outside, evens it up now at 1-1. Medella struck out his first time up an inning ago. Swing and a miss on the 1-1, brings it to 1-2. Still a great opportunity now. Bases juiced, nobody out. Saints looking to get as many runs as they possibly can. This one catches Medella on the front foot. And another bases loaded hit by pitch. It brings in yet another run for the Saints. 3 straight free passes for 3 free runs. They go ahead 6-0 here in the second. Still nobody out.
Bizarre defensive inning for Walnut Creek. Just the pitching to go back-to-back, hit by pitch, walk, and then hit by pitch again.
Jax Ryan grounds it to the shortstop. Bobbles has to go to first with it. He makes the play for the first out, but another run comes in. Saints now go ahead 7-0. And with Jax Ryan grounding out just then, the Saints now have officially batted all the way through. Still with 2 runners in scoring position, though, with 1 out for now Jacob Freer.
Jacob Freer was the second run to come in and score. In order, it was Jax Ryan, Jacob Freer, Joey Milto, Johnny Garber, Mussini, Hayworth, and Trotter Enright for all 7 runs that have come in for Arroyo Seco this afternoon.
First one in there for a called strike. Freer, his first time up, which was earlier this inning, he was walked. And just like you mentioned, Mark, he came around to score. This one misses below the knees for ball 1. Count now even. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Low and inside, ball 2. Fly ball into center field. McGee gets underneath it. Both runners tag up. Throw goes to third. Levi Medella is going to hold at second, put the brakes on, but Jack Little comes in to score. Saints lead 8-0 after the sac fly from Jacob Freer.
A nice hold there at second base by Levi Medella. The throw from Casey Levitt McGee from center field, very strong over to third base. I think that if he ended up making the decision in Levi Medella to charge it all the way over to third base, I think the throw would have been in time. So a nice decision there to hold, try to continue this productivity in the top of the second inning.
Saints already with 8 so far. Still a runner in scoring position now with 2 outs for Joey Milto. He was walked his first time up. Line drive, left center field. This one's going to be out of here for a 2-run home run. Saints top of the second.
That ball was absolutely roped over the left center field fence here at Monte Vista High School. Beautiful 2-run home run for Joey Milto. And the Saints are now in double digits, leading 10-0.
Milto's first home run so far this summer puts the Saints ahead massively. First pitch now, Johnny Garber pops it up on the right side of the infield. Second baseman Chris Escovel gets underneath it and makes the grab for the third out. But damage is done. 10-0 as we head into the home half of the second from here on the Saints streaming network.
That was one. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Every day I spend my time drinking wine, feeling fine, waiting here to find the sign that I can understand. So every day I spend my time.
Underneath the left field, and what a piece of hitting from Ryan.
Heading into the bottom of the second inning, the Saints are leading by double digits. It's 10-0 after a 10-run top of the second. Leading off for the Crawdads is the catcher, Zach Justice, then the first baseman, John Ewens, and the shortstop, Cam Calvillo. But we were talking in between innings, Mark. If the offense, really was taking its time, it's surely awakened now for the Saints. Jax Ryan handles the grounder to the shortstop and fires over to the first baseman, Medella, for the first out, a quick first out after a huge offensive inning.
Yeah, it's almost felt like a sequence of progression throughout this road trip. in Thursday against San Luis Obispo. Really strong defense, but we're not able to get really any hits. 2 hits spread across the entire game. Just not a lot of offense overall for Arroyo Seco. And then yesterday against Sonoma, they start to find their groove, start to figure it out. They get 9 hits, but not in the most timely fashion. And then we come in here today. Bats are hot in the second inning. Also capitalizing on some defensive struggles from Walnut Creek, but they're able to really crank out some offense and get far ahead in this game.
John Ewens now ahead 2-0. You know, that 10-run inning was capped off by the home run off the bat of Joey Milto, a 2-run shot to put them ahead 10-0. Besides that, though, there's only been 3 other hits, so strong offensive performance today, but a little bit of help from the Crawdads pitching staff, couple of walks, couple of hit-by pitches to put some runners on, but nonetheless, Saints are absolutely going to take it when they're looking to complete this series victory, if you will. 2-1 swung on and missed by Ewens, evens it up at 2-2. Grounded off of himself. Ewens will see the 2-2 again. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Zach Erdman picks up a strikeout for the second out of the second inning.
Something I was thinking about during that very productive top of the second inning, Riley, is the Saints were able to do really well on offense, but the question was going to be, how are they going to respond? Because you're going to have a fired-up Walnut Creek team who's going to come into their offensive at-bat here in the bottom of the second, and they're going to want to try to crank some scoring in themselves. And to have 2 outs here in the bottom of the second is a really good response after the productive inning that they had.
Line drive into right field. Milto gets underneath it, and another 3-up, 3-down inning for the Crawdads puts the Saints back in the dugout. They still lead by 10 as we head to the third frame from here in Danville. Top third, 9-1-2 for the Saints. Keon Mosini, Lan Hayworth, Trotter, Enright. They still lead by 10 after a very productive top of the second.
As it stands right now, the Saints only have 4 hits to their 10 runs. So a productive inning for sure in the top of the second for Arroyo Seco, but also some rough pitching and rough defense helps give the Saints a comfortable lead here in the top of the third.
Mosini now ahead 3-0. It's Storjahan on the mound for the Crawdads. This game was started by George Zaharias. He went 1 inning, 5 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. He came in for the second inning, but he couldn't record an out and, kind of gave up some catastrophes to the Saints. He was then relieved by Storjahan, who so far has 1 inning pitched, given up 1 hit, 4 runs, but only 1 earned, 1 walk, and no strikeouts. Mosini now, what he thinks he's seen is 5 balls, but really it's a 3-2 full count.
Yeah, count was 3-0 for Mosini. Next 2 pitches, he was ready to throw his bat off and take first base. Umpire said, not today.
Payoff pitch lined over to the shortstop Calvillo, and he makes a diving grab for the first out of the inning.
Nice grab there by Calvillo. Kind of looked like from this angle he wasn't going to be able to make the catch, but he was able to snag it and help get 1 out here for the Crawdads in the top of the 3rd.
Good barrel, though, by Mosini. Hard hit, head-high line drive over to the shortstop, just in the range of Calvillo to make the snag on it. Backdoor breaker gets in there for a called strike 1 against the leadoff man, Lane Hayworth.
Hayworth is 2 for 2 today. 1 hit is an RBI single, the other just a regular single in the first inning, and he's looking to get his 3rd here.
Inside slider tied Hayworth up. He went southbound, but he did not go around on the check swing, so it's a 1-1 count with 1 out. Fastball in the outer half, fouled straight back and off the leather of Justice. Brings it to a 1-2 count. Backdoor breaker called, strike 3. Lane Hayworth goes down looking for the second out here in the top of the 3rd.
It was a really nice pitch there by Storjahan. Caught that outside corner and fooled Lane Hayworth a little bit. And after a disastrous top of the 2nd inning, it seems that the Crawdads and Storjahan on the rubber today are starting to find their groove, find their rhythm a little bit.
Inside slider misses too far inside for Trotter Enright now, the 3rd baseman for the Saints today. He's currently 0 for 1 as it stands. Lines this one right back up the middle and into center field for a base hit. He's now 1 for 2 and starts things off with 2 outs for the Saints.
Yeah, he hit that ball in the 1st inning almost in the exact same place, just a little bit more to the left, in which they were able to turn 2 on a double play, a 6-4-3. And then in the 2nd inning, he was hit by a pitch and took first, would then eventually come in to score. And then here he is now with his 2nd hit of the day.
He's hit by pitch with the bases loaded as well, which gives him an RBI too. Check swing, but called strike nonetheless to the designated hitter, Jack Little. Now Little, a lot of 1s across his stat line from our online scorebook. He is 1 for 1 with 1 run scored, 1 RBI, and 1 walk. But obviously that 1 for 1, a little bit of questionable, up on the scoreboard. They have it down as an error. In our online scorebook, they have it down as a hit.